is there going to be a new Vice ever then? Anything like it?
No, I was just talking about this earlier. Print is dead, but I think maybe print should be dead. Maybe the written word should die.
Okay.
I can't believe I'm saying that.
Go on.
Okay, so I'm looking up Mexican jumping beans, right?
Okay, this is good.
And I have the Wikipedia definition because I was like, my kid was like, why do they jump? What is that about? And I go, I think there's like a larva in a bean, but I don't know what the bean. So there's the Wikipedia definition. It lists exactly what's going on. Boring, hard to figure out. I look up a YouTube video. I see the pods that the Mexican jumping beans are just larvae for a moth, but they chose this particular bean because it's got sharp edges on it, and they get in it, so they can't be eaten, and they seal themselves in. But the great thing about the sharp edges is when the sun is coming on them, they can move out of the way. And if they're round, they just roll down the hill, right? But the sharp edges, they can move up. So when the sun's here, they move into the shade. When the sun's there, they move out of the shade. I'm watching this on YouTube. I can see the larvae smash its head against the side of the bean to move over. I can see the bean. They show me a bunch of different experiments where they had like a block of ice and a heated pad, and how they would move back and forth depending on what the temperature was. When you move the ice, they moved, near it to get away from too much heat. And I'm like, that's way better than the written word. Or what about this? That show on HBO, it wasn't Philip Seymour Hoffman, it was the other guy who's just like him, who was in that wine movie where they crash a car into a tree. What's his name? He looks like
the guy who looks like Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, the really good actor.
Yeah.
He played, anyway, he was doing a thing on John Adams, right? And it was...
Giamatti?
Yeah, Giamatti, Paul Giamatti, that's it.
I was thinking of the other guy.
Yeah, they're the same. They're all the same guy. Fat, good actors. And
it's a type.
It's a type. And I'm watching the docu-series on HBO, and I'm like, I can see their buckled shoes. I can see the carts they're in. I can see what the women are wearing. I'm not using my imagination, really. But aren't I better off than reading this story? And they go, oh, no, it's good for your brain to use your imagination. I'd be imagining the wrong shoes. I just saw this on a movie, and now I have a much clearer perception of what it was like back then for John Adams.
Yeah. So, Vice print dead, long live Mexican jumping bean YouTube videos.
Exactly.
Got it.
I think the written word is dead.
Well, it's definitely dying.
I did a column for 15 years at Tacky Mag. I don't think more than 100 people, 200 people would read each article. I do a video on YouTube. It gets like tens of thousands of views.
Maybe it's just going back to being the bespoke product for the smartest, wisest people in the world.
Yeah.
Sitting in their monasteries.
Yeah, I like them. Yeah, and I don't know. There's a meritocracy with YouTube. It's hard to argue with.
It's amazing that YouTube works so well and Google works like so poorly.
Yeah, something fishy's going on there.
Something very strange.
You look up like Jan 6, and after 3 pages, you've seen all the articles and they start repeating themselves. If you recall, around 2005, you could never get to the end of anything, let alone an insurrection.
Yeah. Well, that was like the whole gimmick. Like at the bottom, it was like Google.
Yeah.
And had like all the page numbers.
And you finish the mainstream things. Now do the blogs. Remember there was a separate blog Google? And you would look up a subject and it wouldn't be CNN. It would be what the blogs are saying. That's another 300 pages of information.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. You can finish, you could probably finish Mexican jumping beans in like 4 pages.
Yeah. Google doesn't even have a page anymore. It's just sort of like an infinite scroll at this point with like modules. They're breaking it all down.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
It's fishy though.
It is.
This is the big question with everything that we're talking about is what percentage is incompetence and what percentage is some grand globalist scheme where they're using us like marionettes? And I'm constantly trying to figure that out.
Yeah, well, that's the disorienting thing. Is like it's just the boundary between reality and fantasy, or between what's an op and what's not, is just so permeable.
Yeah. Are you stupid or evil? Because you're ruining my country.
Yeah. A friend of mine, Albanian by birth, left Albania, came to the US, got a job at Google. And he was like super excited because this was going to be like the apex of America. And he knew about America and he like watched the stuff and was familiar with the culture and came to the US and was excited to be in the US. And he gets to Google and he's like walking around and he's like, where are all the Americans? He's
Yeah.
like, these people they don't act like Americans, they don't talk like Americans, they don't think like Americans, they don't do things other Americans do. Like, what planet is this? What country is this?
And is that just cheap labor, or is that a big plan? Every time you read about Twitter or Google or some big tech catastrophe, they're always like, well, Rajiv Shandar is out at Twitter and he'll be replaced by Rajiv Ningodong. Like, there's not one normal name in any big tech story.
Well, you got all the women of corporate America are still clinging to their normal names.
Yeah, but remember the head of Twitter's information? She was on Joe Rogan a couple times. She's like Nadil Prakash or something.
True. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of these corporations, like, they want someone sort of like palatable to be the face of the operation. OpenAI did this. They found personable Armenian to just like put out in front of the cameras.
I went to Google once for a pitch meeting. You had to sign a bunch of NDAs just to walk in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I saw one black person in the entire building.
Yeah, well,
That's probably why I have to sign NDAs.
Yeah, that's right. Probably so. Busted. I want to talk about this. Like,
I guess I just violated the NDA.
It's done. It's over.
Whoops.
You've been served.